Hi, welcome to another demonstration on Nearpod. So this demonstration is going to show how to use a web content slide in Nearpod to insert Google Slides. So many of you probably already know how to do that or have seen that that's a function. This is just going to be an example of using it for an activity where students participate in it in several sections of the lesson. So in this example, we're going to do a what you know, what you want to learn, and what you learned according to the lesson in Nearpod. So first, this is just an introductory activity for the students as they log in to start sharing what is one great thing about going to school at home. So whether the students are returning back to the classroom and you're reflecting on their time at home, or they are at home and you kind of want to build that morale about being at home. This left screen is the teacher screen, the right one is the student screen. So as I work through this lesson, I'm showing the students here, this is what the form is going to look like. This is what I want you to do. Please only fill out the first two sections. The last section, obviously, you want to fill out at the end when you actually learn something from the lesson. Please also include your name. So I always present what we will be doing, what the slide will look like, or the activity will look like before we get into the activity. Now, once we're into the Google Slide activity, so this is a Google Slide presentation, this is just a suggestion, right? So I put my whole class list here, all my students' names, and I assigned them to a slide number and pre-made the slides. So I created the first slide and then duplicated all of the slides after that. So that's pretty easy to do. Once you're in here, you can hit right click and then click duplicate slide. Now, if you hold shift, you can click from here to here once you have multiple slides and you hit duplicate, and it's going to duplicate the number of slides that you have highlighted. So that will make the duplicating process a little bit faster, and it's just a little bit of a shortcut. So the only thing is make sure you're totally satisfied with the slide. So when I made this slide, I put in my text boxes. So where I wanted students to actually type in, I put the text box there because that makes more sense. It's already created and I'm taking away 1, 2, 3, 4 steps that the students would have to do during the activity. So it just speeds it up and gets them right to working. You do have to change the settings in here, so I can't show you right now. Oh, I can switch it over. You want to go to your share settings. You want to make sure that anyone on the internet can edit. So you can change that by clicking this, and then you have the option viewer, commenter, or editor. So when you want the students to actually edit the slides, it needs to be in that edit mode. So now once we're in here, this was just a test. As a student, let's say my name is Veronica, I'm going to say, okay, I need to go to slide 11. So now I can scroll to slide 11. You want to advise your students to make sure that they are clicked on it. As a teacher, you can monitor on the side. You should be able to see that there's one student per slide, and you should, depending on the settings at your school, or if your students are either they might be showing up as anonymous, or you might be able to see their name if you're at school. You can see who's in what slide and kind of make sure that the right people are in there. Then as a student, you're ready to go. I just click in here and then I can put my name and then I can start typing. Right? Do masks work? Okay, so you fill out the 2, you advise them, give them a certain amount of time, and then you can then just kind of wrap it up. So as the teacher, when you're ready to go, you just change the slide and it will change the slide for all of the students at the same time. So you don't have to worry about sending them to another tab or another program. It's all within Nearpod. I put in some videos to show the students to kind of teach them about it, and then I did a lot of collaborative boards so that it's more of like a discussion and the students learning from each other, and maybe as a teacher being able to assess some of the misconceptions that are going on among your students and kind of help ease some of those things. So here I'm assessing what do you know about the spread of COVID-19, and I do that because the next 2 slides I'm going to present how they can help prevent the spread of COVID-19. So then again, I'm going to do why do we wear masks to prevent COVID-19. So I'm assessing what do they know now, and then I'm presenting a video. This video is the video, you've probably seen it, where researchers they check to see how much bacteria is spread when someone coughs, talks, and sneezes with and without a mask. So then the next step is that I would say, okay, do you think you need to still cover our mouth when you sneeze or cough when you have a mask on? And just seeing what their thoughts are, right? Because this isn't something that I've really seen talked about in the media, but I do want my students to do that if and when they return to the classroom. So then I would present information that, they are not perfect, although they do prevent. There is some leakage, and so that the best process is to cover your cough and sneeze. And obviously as teachers, we know that not all masks are created the same. So then this would wrap up the Nearpod slide presentation, and I would want to have my students put in what they learned. So if I was Veronica, I would go back and I would type in here and I would say, yes, masks work, but I still need to cover my cough when wearing one. Right, so then that would wrap up the Nearpod activity. So this is just a presentation on one example of how you could use Google Slide to do that. And all I did is I duplicated the web content slide. So when I first put it into my Nearpod presentation in my slide, here it is, this slide, I copied and pasted this into and dragged it to the last slide within Nearpod. That's it. So it's actually really simple to do if you want to work within the slide presentation throughout your Nearpod presentation. You can do this to have your students fill in their own study guide, right? So if you wanted to have them name locations on a map, or if you wanted to have them name parts of a cell or something like that, you could introduce a section of it at a time and then have them go in and label those parts or the map or whatever you want them to do within those single slide. The only thing about that, if you did use it as a study guide, is that you would have to probably post the entire Google slide, or you can have the students screenshot it or save it to their own files, or you could just take one and post it. But you can use it for many other things. I know a lot of people do the KWLs, so this is just one way you can kind of put it into a lesson virtually or even in the classroom with the idea of minimizing paper usage. If you have any questions or suggestions, please definitely use the comments on Facebook or Twitter, or you can email us or leave a comment on this post. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you.